The next module is the Rotary Foundation Essentials. It's very important for the Rotary Club president to know what Rotary Foundation is, how it does good around the world, and how Rotary is funded to do good around the world. And you watch a small video that would explain to you the origins of the Rotary Foundation, its progress and the progression and where it stands right now, what good it is doing around the world. It has almost eradicated the polio from the face of the earth, and it's doing a lot of other good things. So watch this video and then we'll continue.
Our vision for the Rotary Foundation began 100 years ago. At Rotary's 1917 convention, President Arch Klump proposed an endowment for doing good in the world. His dream expanded the reach of Rotary far beyond the club. A contribution of $26.50 launched our foundation's endowment. A century later, we've spent more than $3 billion on humanitarian efforts worldwide.
Every Rotary project anywhere in the world always started out with one person who had an idea. And then they were able to grow and develop that idea by using that powerful network of Rotary to really change the world.
We are active, we are effective, we are really alive.
Our foundation has always been dedicated to improving lives. The first grant provided aid to disabled children. Today, we are on the verge of ending polio.
Et lorsque je vois une mère me sourire après avoir donné le vaccin à son enfant, cela comble ma journée de joie. Parce que j'ai la conviction que cet enfant ne sera jamais handicapé.
Without Rotary, this polio campaign wouldn't be anywhere. And the incredible effort that's been made from the very beginning is really unprecedented.
In the wake of a world war, we made a global impact by funding scholarships for international study. Today, we train the next generation of global peacemakers.
The Rotary Peace Fellowship takes people who have the desire to learn and gives them that opportunity.
Good intentions alone are not sufficient. This is one of the most important things an international organization like Rotary should do.
We all see this as a passion. We've got to do something for change. Not only for young people today, but of tomorrow.
Rotary is dedicated to personal and professional connections, so we created Group Study Exchange to build international understanding. Today, our foundation supports vocational training teams around the globe.
You turn the dial until this color matches this color.
The VTT program allows people to bring specific skills to improve another country.
Rotarians wanted to broaden their impact, so our foundation began funding their projects. A decade later, we began supporting larger projects to address health, hunger, and other humanitarian needs. Today's large-scale grants are measurable and sustainable. They allow us to tackle humanity's greatest challenges. "100 years ago, Arch Klump had a vision. His vision has become our legacy.
The Rotary Foundation is a great tool to transform the world.
That's what Rotary is all about. Vision to see, faith to believe, and courage to act.
The Rotary Foundation. We are doing good in the world. let's continue for the next 100 years.
The mission of the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotarians to advise world understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, education, and alleviation of poverty. That's the mission of the foundation. And Rotary Foundation does help and does all these good things around the world through 6 areas of focus. Any of these areas that there is a need, the Rotary Foundation funds projects to do good. The first area of focus is peace and conflict prevention and resolution. Any issues relating peace and conflict preservation, they will fund projects to help this. The second focus is disease prevention and treatment. Third one, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, and basic education literacy, and economic and community development. These are the 6 areas of focus. Any of these, Rotary Foundation is ready to help. Now, if Rotary is doing all this good work around the world, how is the Rotaries being funded to do this good work? Let's look at it. The Rotarians basically fund the Rotary Foundation, and you can fund the Rotary Foundation in 3 ways. You can give it to polio, or you can give it to annual program fund, or you can give it to annual permanent fund. If you give it to local polio fund, it goes straight to that year's Rotary Foundation, and it goes to the polio. And it's completely dedicated to the polio eradication. But if you give it to annual fund, that money goes into a share fund, and it is invested for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, the principal and the interest are taken and divided into 50-50, and 150% goes to district designated funds, and a 50% goes into World Fund. And if you give it to the permanent fund, that money will never be touched. Every year, only the interest earned on that will be taken and put it to the World Fund. So the World Fund gets money, 50% from the share, and all the interest invested from the interest fund of the permanent fund. Now, what happens to the DDF, the district designated fund? So that 50% of the money that you gave to the foundation 3 years ago will come back to you. And if you look at an example, in the year 2016 and 2017, our district received $74,000 as a district designated fund, which means in 2013 and 2014, our district has contributed to the foundation $148,000. So 3 years later, we got half the money back. And now this half the money we can take and we can give it to our grants. It could be a local grants or it could be an international grants. If it is an international grant, it is matched like 2.5 times for every dollar that we give. And that's how the magic of Rotary, that small amounts of funds that the Rotary raises, with the matching grants, you can do major projects. And the matching grants come from the World Fund. The other 50% went into the World Fund. That World Fund will give you the matching grants. So this way of distributing our own money to do good in the world is the magic that works to do all kinds of projects like eradicating polio that we have started in '89, when there were 365,000 active polio cases every year. And this year we only have 7 in the war-torn area of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And that also will be eliminated in another year. So this is an example to show the magic of foundation. Our district has contributed to a water project in India at $25,000. So the district designated funds, they matched $25. Every dollar we gave, they gave $1. So $25,000 came from the district designated funds. And the Rotary Foundation, which is from the World Fund, they gave $37,500. So our contribution, our district contribution was only $25, but it became $87,500. Similarly, our host club in India, where we're doing the project, they also did the same thing. The clubs gave $25,000, and their DDF gave $25,000, and again foundation gave $37,500. So as you can see, the clubs together gave $50,000, 25 here and 25 in India, $50,000, but the matching grants were $125,000. So with the $50,000 we raised, we did a project for $170,000 and providing safe drinking water to 160,000 population. So you can see the magic of Rotary Foundation with the small amounts of money that clubs raise. And this is another project that we have done locally. If you get the money from the matching grant, if you get the money from the district designated funds to do a local project, you will not get a matching grants. That's the only disadvantage. You get a matching grants only when you do international projects. But still, the district designated funds for the local projects also do a lot of good. Here we have done a project with the $2,500 acted as a catalyst to raise funds. Our club gave another $5,800 and the middle school raised about $8,900, and we did a $18,000 greenhouse project, and now the whole school is now working on the biology, the computer science, math. Every course is now being revised to use this greenhouse. So these are all the benefits of the Rotary Foundation. You can see the power of Rotary and how these Rotary Foundation grants help to projects around the world. Now, you can individually contribute, or you can also contribute through Rotary Club. Individually, there are many ways you can contribute. You can contribute as a Paul Harris Fellow. If you give $1,000, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. It doesn't have to be a lump sum of $1,000. You can contribute on $100 a month, and in a year you'll become a fellow. And you can also be a Paul Harris Society member. If you're generous and you pledge $1,000 a year, then you will be a society member. Or you can be a major donor, which you pledge $10,000, you become a major donor, and you don't have to pledge all $10,000 one year. If you become a society member and contribute $1,000 a year, in 10 years you become a major donor. Or if you're still more generous, you can also become Arch Club Society member, where if you write a check for $250,000, you become an Arch Club Society member. And all these projects do a lot of good around the world. You can also be a benefactor. You can put in your will certain amount of money that the Rotary Foundation will benefit when you're deceased. That's a benefactor donation. You can also have a bequest society, take an insurance, and have a Rotary Foundation as a beneficiary of that. As a club, you can also contribute. You can have what we call 100% Rotary Giving Club, where every member of the club donates to the Rotary Foundation. No limit on the money. It's a $1 or $1,000. As long as you donate, it's a 100% foundation club. You can also be 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club. That means every member has donated $1,000. You can be a 100% Paul Harris Society member. That means every member has pledged $1,000 a year for the foundation. And also you can be a Rotarian, every Rotarian every year. This is same as 100% foundation giving, but the requirement is that the per capita giving should be at least $100. Some people may give less than 100, some may give more than 100, but the club's average has to be at least $100 and above per person. So then you will be every Rotarian, every club reward. These are all the ways you fund.